So, Mark chapter number 6, second part. Jesus attends his first missionary report meeting. He feeds 5,000 besides women and children, and then walks on the water. Another remarkable section of Mark's Gospel, chapter number 6. So the apostles returned to Jesus from their ministry tour and told him all that they'd done and taught. Then Jesus said, "Let's go off by ourselves to a quiet place and rest a while." He said this because there were so many people coming and going that Jesus and his apostles didn't even have time to eat. So they left by boat to a quiet place where they could be alone. But many people recognized them and saw them leaving, and people from many towns ran ahead along the shore and got there ahead of them. Jesus saw the huge crowd, and he stepped from the boat and he had compassion on them, because they were like sheep without a shepherd, and so he began teaching them many things. Late in the afternoon, his disciples came to him and said, "This is a remote place and it's already getting late. Send the crowd away so that they can go to nearby farms and villages and buy something to eat." But Jesus said, "You feed them." "With what?" they said. "We'd have to work months to earn enough money to buy food for all these people." "How much bread do you have?" he asked. "Go and find out." They came back and reported, "We have 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish." Then Jesus told his disciples to have the people sit down in groups of 50 on the green grass. So they sat down in groups. Jesus took 5 loaves and 2 fishes and looked up to heaven and blessed them. Then, breaking the loaves into pieces, he kept giving the bread to the disciples so that they could distribute it to the people. He began to divide the fish for everyone to share. They all ate as much as they wanted, and afterwards the disciples picked up 12 baskets of leftover bread and fish. A total of 5,000 men and their families were fed from those loaves. Immediately after this, Jesus insisted that his disciples go back into the boat and head across the lake to Bethsaida, while he sent the people home. After telling everyone goodbye, he went up into the hills himself to pray. Late that night, while the disciples were in the boat in the middle of the lake, and Jesus was alone in the land, he saw that they were in serious trouble, rowing hard and struggling against the wind and waves. About 3 o'clock in the morning, Jesus came toward them walking on the water. He intended to go past them, but when they saw him walking in the water, they cried out in terror, thinking that he was a ghost. They were all terrified when they saw him. But Jesus spoke at once. "Don't be afraid. Take courage. I am here." Then he climbed into the boat, and the wind stopped. They were totally amazed, for they still didn't understand the significance of the miracles of the loaves. Their hearts were too hard to take it in. After they'd crossed the lake, they landed in Gennesaret. They brought the boat to shore and climbed out. The people recognized Jesus at once, and they ran throughout the whole area carrying sick people and mats to wherever they heard he was. Wherever he went, in villages, cities, and in the countryside, they brought the sick out of the marketplaces. They begged him to let the sick touch at least the fringe of his robe, and all who touched him were healed.